1,172 hours. That is the estimate of how long it would take me to get through my backlog of games on Steam alone. That number is comprised of 74 games in my Steam library that I've never played, a number that is staggering even to myself. I never meant to have such a large backlog, but over the years, Humble Bundle deals and massive Steam sales got me racking up stacks of games for pennies on the dollar, and here we are today. While this fact might be a little embarrassing for me to admit, I know that I'm not the only one. There are just so many games out there that offer unique experiences, and I don't want to miss out on those. But of course, I don't have my whole life to dedicate specifically to games either, so the backlog tends to stack faster than I can get to it. I found myself often asking how I plan to get through all these games, how I can take this list down to 0 for good. I also wonder if I actually ever can. And that opened up another line of thinking. Maybe it's okay if I don't ever get to the whole list. Maybe I don't have to play them all. Before I get into the meat of this little topic, there's one thing I'd like to say, and it isn't about liking and subscribing, but I mean, you can do that if you want to. Don't feel bad for wanting to play games, and seeing the potential of not getting to everything you want to as a real problem. If you're like me, you probably have people in your life that don't get it. They see this issue as, oh, poor you have games to play, and brush it off as a silly worry. If you're also like me, you want to play these games for an experience beyond just simple enjoyment. You want to experience something that moves you, something that has the potential to change the way you think about the world, something that may even change your life. You want to interact with art, and you want to interact with as much of it as you can. This isn't stupid. There's a reason you want to play these games, and that reason is deeply human and natural. Know that first, and own it. But getting back to the crux of the problem at hand, what actually can we do? If I decided to break down that 1,172 hours over the course of a year, I would need to play an average of about 3 hours per day to get through it all. That is far from impossible on its own, but remember, new games launch every year. I may play an online game that technically has no end, and simply, life can just get in the way. Dedicating 3 hours a day specifically to this list for a full year would probably not happen. That is the unfortunate truth. Of course, I also have YouTube to do on top of all of this, taking even more of my time. Of course, I can expand this timeline, dedicating smaller amounts of time on average to the list over a multi-year period. But even then, that's more time for sales to pass by that tempt me towards even more games. New games releasing every year that I plan on playing, new games that I discover surfing through Steam and other sites, and so on. Ultimately, more time in this scenario is a double-edged sword. I can use that time to play more of my backlog, but I can also use that time to add to my backlog. Or simply find a new game that I play immediately and ignore my backlog altogether for a time. Or get into a competitive online game that I sink hundreds of hours into. All that being said, it is still possible to make it all the way through, barring I get enough free time during the average day, and that my life doesn't change too drastically in the coming years. So, maybe I can do it. Maybe one day I'll get there. But maybe I won't. The future is unpredictable. Not only can I not guarantee the events that will befall me in the next years, I can't guarantee I will even survive that long, albeit I sure hope that I do. But if I've learned anything from Unus Annus, it's that 1 year travels quickly, and the nearly 4 years since the end of that wonderful project has gone by quickly as well. Time does not wait for us. We just do not have time to do everything we will want to do in life. We can only hope to do as much as we can. This all starts to feel a little upsetting and existential. Of course, there's plenty of other larger life events and experiences that I want to have time for, all on top of this driving question of, will I ever be able to play every game I want to? Not to mention every hidden gem waiting to be discovered, all the old classics I've still never gotten to, the future hits that change the face of the industry 50 years from now. The answer is sadly no. No, I will not. The ultimate fact that we as gamers have to face is that we will not be able to play everything. It is just the truth. Just as every movie buff will not be able to watch every film, every LEGO fan able to build every set, every reader able to read every book. There are just too many options out there for our limited time. Many of us don't get the luxury of making these passions our field of work, either. This time exploring these worlds and fascinations is delegated to small portions of the day, after we have already dealt with the heaping pile of never-ending responsibilities of a functional life. But there comes a point where we must accept this, where we must hand ourselves over to the inevitable grasp of time. I know I already said this, but I just kind of hate using the term gamers. We gamers have an interest in an art form, and that is a beautiful thing, and we have to be okay with the fact that there will be parts of that art form we will never see. But that's kind of what makes art great, isn't it? I may be moved by the dead halls of Rapture in BioShock, and the mysterious world of Inscription. I may find a release from my stress in blasting demons in Doom. I'm sure that's perfectly healthy. I might spend hours searching the corners of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and you may not. You may be floored by the technical prowess of becoming a great League of Legends player. You may find tranquility in mastering a character in Super Smash Bros. Or Mortal Kombat, and you might feel at home catching them all in Pokemon, filling your Pokedex with each and every last creature you can find. No, you do not have to play every video game. You do not even have to finish that backlog that waits for you. You can play the games that touch your soul. You can enjoy this art form the way you were meant to enjoy it. Maybe one day you will finish that backlog. Maybe one day I will too. Selfishly, I still kind of hope that I do. I want to experience these other worlds and what they offer. But I will also not stop myself from getting lost in the worlds that call to me. I will take the chances to go back to the ones that will have me back as well. I will play what I play for as long as I desire. I will finish the games I finish. And one day, when I know that I won't be playing anymore, I will look back and be happy for the experiences I did get. The memories that I made exploring a blocky world, the times I mercilessly killed my friends in Spider-Heck, the times they did the same right back to me. The times that games surprised me with what a game could even be. And I'll be happy for the experiences that you got too, and the memories you created in those worlds. You don't have to play them all. And that's okay. It really is. Hey, so this was another shorter one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I've got a lot of bigger projects still in the works, but as those are going in the background, I still want to give you some of these smaller videos over some more broad topics that won't take as much research and time playing games. So expect more of these in between the big stuff. If you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate you liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It means a bunch. Thanks for watching, and go boop a snoot.